Hey guys, this is James from TeaDB, bringing you another episode. Again, you may recognize him from last week or from a year ago. This is Emilio. Emilio, so this is a tea from a box that you've been working with Toby on?
Yep. Yeah, Toby and I have been sourcing some tea in Taiwan and sending it out every few months to people who want to try some good Pu'erh tea that's at a good price.
Mm-hmm. So they do curated boxes, I think is what Toby calls them. And they're just sort of a way to sample a lot of different Pu'erhs. And if someone really liked this tea, would they be able to buy it?
Yeah, after we send out the samples of the curated box, if people like any of the teas, it depends on the stock. So you can reorder the whole cake if you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And so what tea are we drinking today?
This is the Dai 7542 cake. It's a 901.
Okay.
So it's like the first picking of 2009.
Right. And so for those of you not familiar, 7542 is a recipe that is done by Dai, aka Menghai Tea Factory. It's probably one of their signature recipes, and usually, as Emilio said, the batch is indicated by sort of the number at the end. So if it's the second batch, it would have been 902. So this is the first batch of that year, so it's 901. So this is a tea that is actually now 8 years old, and this has been stored in Taiwan. Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty much all the teas that Toby and I are selling are stored in Taiwan. So it's a drier storage than Hong Kong. And Taiwan has pretty good storage. Most of the teas stay sweeter and cleaner than they do when they're stored other places.
Yep. And but it would also age more quickly than most areas of the West. Seattle, for instance, where it's a little bit cooler and not as humid as here. So this tea, you could smell from the age that it definitely has started to mature, at least.
Started to, yeah.
Yes. And usually this recipe is something that people really like to buy a lot of for sort of like long-term aging or that sort of deal. So it'll be interesting to taste this sort of in like its semi-aged state.
Yeah. I think it's already pretty good for drinking.
Okay.
I usually don't like teas that are really fresh. I like them when they're a little bit aged, but this is 2009, which is, for me, pretty young, but I still like the taste. It's coming along pretty well, I think.
And for those of you that are super big TeaDB nerds, so probably my mom and like two other people, this was actually the original Pu'erh that Denny and I brought on to the show. So it's funny to bring this back, and we totally brewed that tea really strangely and wrong. It was me brewing it at the time. So this is actually my first retry of that tea since that time. So this will be very interesting. I have not had this tea yet, so... you could sort of see it's brewing up a pretty golden orange color. So, a little bit. You can tell the age even just from that color a little bit. And it's actually pretty fragrant. I can smell some of the fragrance from here. Maybe a little bit of fruitiness coming.
Yeah, a little bit of fruitiness. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is a little bit soft, actually, initially, which I find to be nice. And then you can sort of taste sort of the strength of the tea. There's definitely still a fair amount of bitterness in there, which I think is good, because if this tea was not bitter, I'd be a little bit worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit light, this brew, so we'll get more probably the next couple brews.
Get into the tea a little bit more. And some of that sort of like fruitiness, maybe stone fruits, is coming into it. I'd say it's still decently astringent, which makes the tea feel a little bit dry. Again, not a bad thing, just a thing that will happen when a tea is sort of youngish in age. So this tea actually came in a Pu'erh box that showcased a couple different 7542s.
Yeah, we had a 501, which is from 2005, and then we had this 901 from 2009.
Okay. And so you've had both of the teas, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you found that they're pretty different from one another?
Yeah, I mean, I actually expected the 501 to be a little bit better just because it has more age, but I kind of preferred this one, I think, for its fruitiness and freshness. The 501's good too, though. I think it has a little bit more of like a thicker, like mouthfeel, and it's a little bit more rich. This is a little bit more fruity.
Interesting. And you guys could see already that this color is really starting to develop. It's an orange color. Is that sort of the color you're used to when you brew this tea?
That looks about right.
Cool. So we can probably expect a stronger brew here. So it definitely is quite a bit stronger. I'd say it's fairly astringent, but the astringency converts pretty fast into sort of sweet fillings on the mouth.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think if it were empty bitterness, sort of like that bitterness or astringency that just makes your mouth feel in that way, that'd be...
Yeah, I don't really like that.
No, I don't either. In fact, I don't know many people that do.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's sort of the nice quality astringency to the tea.
Yeah, if it's bitter at first, but then leaves your mouth with a sweet taste, I think that's usually
a
good tea.
Yeah, and it could also be a characteristic of like a pu'erh that will continue to smooth out and get even easier and easier to drink as time goes on.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd also say the storage is very clean. There's definitely no hints of sort of that like Hong Kong port warehouse taste.
Not at all.
Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but this, for those of you that sort of like prefer your teas to be pretty dry stored, then I would say that this is dry stored, at least the way it's been done. And how many steeps can you normally get out of this tea going this way?
I mean, you could get a solid like 8, but you could, in the end, it'll still be really sweet, and you could just like keep brewing it for, 15 times or.
Okay, sort of as like just sweet water.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what if, so our viewers probably know that we brought on a few teas from your boxes with Toby in the past onto the show. What have been some of your favorites out of those?
I like that the Menghai Wild, the 2005 Menghai Wild brick. And what else I really like? We had the Bing Dao, that was pretty good for the price. And what else? I mean, the Mansa was like a really popular one.
Yeah.
And I can see why it's really fragrant. It smells really good.
Yeah, we brought that one on. That was very easy to drink.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like sort of the darker but still smooth characteristics to the
Yeah,
tea.
it still had some like floral fragrances in there, which was nice.
I'd say the steep was pretty similar to the last one. Or, no, was this the second steep or the third one?
I think that was the third, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, I'd say the third was pretty similar to the second. It was still strong and punchy. Definitely a good deal of bitterness in there, but as you like sort of pay attention to how the flavor evolves in your mouth, you can tell that it's sort of the good quality sort that converts into sweetness and leaves you feeling nice in the long run if you can sort of like power through that sort of strong, punchy initial taste.
Yeah. Yeah, usually those teas are a bit longer lasting in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And those are, like, if your pu'erh tea is just very pleasant and floral, then it may not be the best tea to sort of store in the long term.
Yeah, like a lot of the well, I guess that's kind of like the new style of pu'er tea, and especially Taiwanese people who go to Taiwan to produce tea. They're a lot of their
Yunnan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yunnan to make tea. It's a lot. They go for like the high mountain, big tree, like small shoots, and it's a much sweeter tea.
Yeah.
And I guess it hasn't been long enough to know if it's going to age really well, but a lot of people in Taiwan consider those are like better for drinking like now than for putting
Right.
away for storage.
Whereas this is more of your old school factory style pu'er cake that, you know, I guess you could drink it young, but most people will expect you to at least wait until it's something like this age, 7 or 8 years, and then you could have it now and then.
Yeah.
But it's even better when it's like 20 or 30 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the good things when it's this age is it's more affordable too.
Exactly. So if you wait until the tea is 20 or 30 years old, then
You're gonna be paying a lot of money.
yeah, this tea would probably be quite a bit more than it is now. And if you don't mind me asking, do you know what this tea, what you and Toby sell it for? Do you recall?
How much is it? Yeah, actually, I'm not. I have to look at our price list to know, because there's so many teas that we've been going through. Definitely don't remember the prices offhand. Yeah.
Okay, right on.
And some of them, the tea prices go up really quickly. Like, pu'er tea is kind of like the stock market. Prices can change overnight. So sometimes we have that problem if someone wants to buy, like, restock on some of the tea that's in the box, and then we find out that the price has gone up, and even because we have different vendors that we source from, and even when we check everyone, it's like everyone knows that price went up, and you can't get it for the original price. So
yeah. So if you wait too long, you could miss out on teas potentially, especially teas, as Emilio said, sort of like these dye teas that are big factory, big production. Like someone could just out of nowhere decide to buy a whole bunch of boxes with it, and the price goes up. Something like that could happen, and the market will fluctuate. So I'd say this last steep was actually probably my favorite one. It's still strong and punchy. I think it softened up.
It mellowed out, yeah.
So it's like sort of getting the best of both worlds in this. The steep, and I think we'll probably just do one more just to showcase the steep. And I'd say this tea is coming along pretty nicely.
Yeah.
If you like your tea strong and powerful, this would be a good one to drink. If you want to sort of buy this recipe as sort of like a benchmark for, like, you know, here's what a factory tea tastes like at this time, and slowly drink it over the years, I think that's also probably a good bet. A tea like this is really meant to age, so if it tastes weird or something, it's probably your storage rather than the tea itself.
Yeah.
So it's good. I think it's a interesting brew for sure.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, these teas are kind of fun because they're like somewhat of a standard for pu'er tea. So it's kind of fun to try, you know, different years. Like the other day I tried the 601, and it's really interesting to see like how different they are from year to year, like, because their tea harvest can be really have very different qualities depending on the season. I have my website, thejadeleaf.com, and you can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and you can also get in contact with Toby Chan through, you can look him up on Facebook. He also has an Instagram account. Do you know what his name is on Instagram?
Yeah, well, list the Instagram below. I believe it's Toby8653 or something like that.
Okay, yeah, you can get in contact with me or Toby if you want to order any more of these pu'er teas or see what we can get in Taiwan. Because there's a lot of vendors we work with, so we can find a lot of tea.
Right, and so if someone were interested in not getting a box but this cake, they could also do so.
Yeah, you can order individual cakes from us. Or if you want to try some different teas, look out for the box that we do is like about every 2 months, and we curate a box of like usually about 5 teas and get to try them all in the box.
Yeah, and they're sort of created as a way for people to try out teas, both for their own education, and if they really like the tea, they can pick up a full cake, and they're usually from places where they are available. So yeah. So thank you, Emilio, for coming on to the show.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by when you're in Taiwan. It's cool to see you again.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we will see you guys next time.